Okay, let's see what we can do with these two, factor by grouping and a factor the polynomial. As we start today, we're going to be continuing to work on factoring out a GCF and also factoring by grouping, and also, again, a little bit of solving. Okay, a little bit of solving. So we've got these three problems here. Go ahead and hit pause and start on one of them, and then I will catch up with you. Remember, if there's four, you have to split down the middle and factor on both sides with grouping to take out the GCF. All right, let's see how you did. So if I start on this one, remember the numbers we're looking at, 2, 3, 5, and 7. So if I start with 6 and 4, I know I can take out a 2. So 6 divided by 2, that's a 3. Negative 4 divided by 2, that's a negative 2. And if I have two t's and a t, I know I can take out the lowest number, which is 1t, so that goes away. So I have a 2t and a 3t minus 2. And again, if you remember our factoring by grouping, we have to make sure that the right side matches what is on the left side. So if I have a negative 3t plus 2 and I need a 3t minus 2, what do I need to take out of this side, the right side? Yeah, I need to take out a negative 1 because the 3 has to be positive. So that would give me a positive 3t and a negative 2. So I have a negative 1. There's my 3t minus 2. Those two are the same. So again, those pull out. And my two GCFs pull together, 2t minus 1. So hopefully you came up with 2t minus 1 and 3t minus 2. Let's go ahead and go over here and do the grouping on this 4 term over here, and we'll come down and then we'll do the just the GCF grouping on that trinomial. On this the left-hand side, I can't take out any numbers. So my 2 is going to stay, and I know I have a negative 1. I have a couple of a's, and this one has 2 a's and a b. So I can take out 2 a's. These are going to go away. These are going to go away. So on this left-hand side, so far I have an a squared, a 2 minus 1b. Okay, now let's go over here on this side. I have a 10 and a negative 5. I can take out a 5. So 10 divided by 5, that's a 2a. And negative 5 divided by 5, that's a negative 1, and I have my b left. So it's looking like these match, which is what I need. Okay, so these two are going to pull together, 2a minus b, and the first ones come together, a squared plus 5. So I have a squared plus 5 and 2a minus b. All right, now let's work on this factoring out greatest common factor again, okay? So this one has lots of letters. So we're going to have to pay a little bit closer attention to what's going on. So 30, 50, and negative 10. Well, the first thing I know is that I know I can take out a 2, but these are pretty big numbers. So let's try to find something bigger. So what other number goes into something with a 0? Well, 5s go into something with a 0, but even better than that, 10s go into something with a 0. So let's just go ahead and take out a 10 right away. 30 divided by 10, that's a 3. 50 divided by 10, that's a positive 5. And negative 10 divided by 10, that's a negative 1. So I'm down to my letters, okay? So this has 4 y's. This one has 4 y's. And this one has 4 y's. So I can actually take all 4 of them out of each one. So why did the 4th on the outside? So z's, there's 3 here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here, and 1, 2, 3 here. Well, I can take out 3 z's. Gone, gone, and gone. And then what about x's? There's 5 x's here. There's none here. And there's 1 here. So can I take any x's out? No, I can't take any x's out because this one doesn't have any. So far, my GCF is looking like 10y4z3, and then I have to deal with what's left. So what's left? I have a 3 and 5 x's. I have a 5 and 2 z's. and a -1 and an x. And I'm done. Okay, I'm done at that point. Okay, let's go back over some factoring and looking at the roots or the zeros. Remember, those are x-intercepts. Okay, those are x-intercepts. So I'm going to make this a little bit bigger so we have a little bit more room to write. And let's kind of go back through those processes. Okay, so when we are looking at a parabola, which is what the name of this shape is, we can have either one root, two roots, or no roots, okay, or zeros. Remember, there's three names: roots, zeros, x-intercepts, and even solutions will be a name that shows up, okay? Now, this one is obviously positive. This one is negative, okay? This one's negative. So what has to happen, if you remember, is we have to start in factored form. So, for example, let's start over here. X minus 3, x plus 5. That is factored form. There are two binomials, okay? It's ready to solve. So I'm going to split it into two equations, set them equal to 0. X minus 3 equals 0. So adding 3, I see x is 3. Moving 5, I see that x is equal to -5. Now, if I was to kind of quickly sketch that, I know that I have to have 1 at 3 and I have to have 1 at -5. So here are my two points, and I know, because my x's are positive, that's going to be a smile, so it's going to stay positive. Okay, let's look at this middle one. Is it factored? Yeah, it's factored. Okay, it's factored. So I have 2x minus 3 equals 0, and I have 2x plus 5 equals 0, and I'm going to go ahead and split them. So I'm going to solve. So I'm going to add 3, and I'm going to have 2x equals 3, divide by 2. I come up with x equals 3/2. This one, subtract my 5s. 2x equals -5, divide by 2. X equals -5/2, which this is -2.5. And this is x equals 1.5. So if I was to try to sketch that, 1.5 is going to be between 1 and 2, and -2.5 is going to be between -2 and -3. And again, it's going to be a smile because the a values are positive, and I've got a kind of a quick sketch of my parabola. We'll come back and look at this one later when we actually have figured out how to graph or how to factor out trinomials, okay? How to factor trinomials, because right now, this one just has a GCF and it's not going to get us far enough to be able to factor and solve. Okay, let's take a look at these two. Go ahead and hit pause and see if you can do the top one. And if you're really feeling like you got this figured out, move on to the next one, see if you can get that one solved and sketched. Okay, let's see how you did. So 8z plus 4 equals 0. 5z plus 10 equals 0. 5z equals -10. Z is going to equal -2. What about the other one? What about the other one? I need to move my 4. So 8z equals -4. Divide by 8. Z equals a -0.5. I'm going to go ahead and change that to a decimal because I need to be able to find it on a number line. So if I'm going to sketch it, here's 0. Here's -1. Here's -2. I know I have 1 at -2, and I have 1 at -0.5. And there's my parabola. All right, now b squared equals -3b. Well, that's decent, but I'm missing an equal to 0. Okay, so I need to move my 3b. So I'm going to go ahead and add 3b on both sides, and I get b squared plus 3b equals 0. Now I'm going to take out a GCF. Well, I see that all I can take out is a b, So I have b and a b plus 3 equals 0. So I'm going to go ahead and pull this up here. Okay, again, two equations. B plus 3 equals 0 and b equals 0. So this one's easy. B equals 0, that's going to be right in the middle. Minus 3, b is going to be negative 3. So 1, 2, 3. Here's negative 3. And again, there are my roots. And I've got a sketch of my parabola. All right, let's see what you can do with these. Reach out to us if you're struggling, because we are going to be moving on tomorrow. Factoring out a GCF is super important, because if we can't take out the GCF, it makes it pretty hard for us to do anything.